Welcome to Chess for Knights, known further to this as the 1 o'clock class part 2. Okay, because they're acting like the 1 o'clock class, especially Karen. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, not my wife Karen, as far as I know anyway. Uh-oh, people are coming in droves, or they're leaving in droves, one of them. All right, so as you all know, because you all subscribe to my YouTube channel, although I noticed this YouTube channel has over 100,000 subscribers, and my YouTube channel has 6,000 plus tax, with very little tax, because there's more tax in Missouri and I'm in Atlanta. You know how that is. So you probably haven't seen these games because you don't subscribe to my channel, because you're the worst. You actually aren't the worst, because I know these kids. All right, right? You know what I'm talking about. No? Okay. So today we're going to look at the games that I played in the 2-on-2 championship. Who was my partner? I don't remember. Now, somehow Mike Kummer was the director, so things were sort of suspicious. For example, the team that we played in round 1, their board 2 was higher rated than their board 1. When I pointed that out, Kummer was confused, okay, which didn't really change things. And he said, okay, you guys can leave it like that. Okay. So I played a 1300 in round 1, and my partner, who shall remain unnamed, played a 1400, a much tougher pairing. Okay, we were racing to see who would win first. So the first game was your favorite opening. Can they see that, or you want to do some light stuff? Yeah. What's that?
Is it the French?
It's the French, okay? And in the French defense, when I'm white, which isn't very common because I don't play e4 that often, I either take, that's not working? Okay, how about that? I either take or I play e5. Taking is the exchange variation. What's e5 called? Advanced variation. And since I was more advanced than my opponent by about double his rating, I played e5. That's a little more complicated. Okay, now, most of you would play bishop d6 or knight f6. Then when I get off the floor laughing, I would take your pieces. And then I would bring you Kleenex because you're busy crying. And then you would buy a copy of my book, Cry Like a Grandmaster, because you're not crying right. Okay, my opponent played c5, the usual move. And then I thought we were playing a Connect 4 tournament. So I played c3, I shook hands, and I left. Okay, now I'll show you the next game, because I got Connect 4, right? Bam. Okay, he had tic-tac-toe, but this ain't a tic-tac-toe tournament. Terrible. Okay, so we kept playing because Mike Kummer explained it was a chess tournament. I couldn't tell by my opponent's moves. You know what I'm saying? No? Okay, so this is the most common position in the advanced French because black is putting a lot of pressure on d4. All of black is attacking d4. So what did I do? I unprotected d4. I'm a grandmaster. I don't play that. So I played bishop to d3, which is one of the common moves. And the idea is I want to get my bishop out in castle, which I did. My opponent did not do that. He did not castle. Okay, he figured he'll castle the next game. There's 3 rounds. Now here, it looks like black can win a pawn by taking forever. And the class ended because it was forever. And that's a blunder. It's very well known, maybe not to this class, because now white is winning. Who has the right answer? Let's call in a random student. Karen. Just a second, I'm getting a text from my wife. Ah, she gave the right answer. I did call on Karen. She thought it was her. You, the highest rated player in the room who's not me, much higher than you, which is true. Wait a minute, actually your brother's in here. Harsh. Who's higher rated, all the kids or that guy in the back? Add it up. Oh, that's right. You, bishop b5 check. I'm sure you were all thinking that. And then I'm attacking the queen. That's called a double attack, so I win. So did my opponent do that? No. Okay, what most people do is they take once, then they stop bishop b5 check by playing bishop d7. Then they take the pawn later. Pawn sacrifice. Okay, it's your favorite movie because it was so good. Only one movie was better, Wonder Woman. That's funny. Okay. You know what's funny about Wonder Woman? Not that it's the worst movie I've ever seen. Not that. But Greg Shahadi saw it and said it was great.
I've heard mostly good things.
Yeah, but you know, people voted for Trump too. Okay, so my opponent made a mistake. He played knight ge7. His mistake was not realizing we're playing bug house. So now I played knight d6 check. Ow. Okay, now knight ge7 blocks his bishop. This is one of the problems black has in the advanced French, is black can't go there because I take his knight. And after knight ge7, since his bishop can't move, then I took his pawn. And he played queen takes. And his queen's going to go on a journey. His queen's going to move every move. Hooray. Okay. And I castled. He played another bad move, g6. Boo. He should move his knight somewhere.
Oh, I saw you going over this.
What's that?
I saw you going over this.
Yeah. Where? Yeah. What did I say? You're the best? My fingers were crossed behind my back. Okay, g6. I attacked his queen. Now, this was very confusing to me. My genius audience here, what do you think black played? Not as genius as I thought. Anyone? You in the back, the biggest genius.
Queen to b6.
Queen to b6, the only safe square for the queen, and therefore the only good move. My opponent thought about 6 minutes. I don't know what he was thinking about. I wish I knew. Sacking the queen? That's a good move. Okay, I shouldn't lie to children, but it's Father's Day, so I can do what I want. Okay, or as far as you're concerned, it's like 10 weeks after Father's Day. All right, so he played queen b6, and I attacked his queen again. Were you guys sleeping today? So I thought he'd move his queen, because that's what I would do, but he sacrificed a pawn. He played the whole game without blundering a pawn. It's the longest anybody's ever lasted. So I should take that pawn any way I want, but I decided to take with the knight, so I've discovered attacks with my knight. Now, if white moves his knight next move, the bishop is attacking the queen. You agree. So what move can he play that attacks my bishop? The move he should have played.
Knight d.
Frank. Knight d5. Good answer, Frank. So knight d5 is the right move. Then the computer says white's up a pawn, but not totally winning. But he played queen to d8. So he sacrificed a pawn, then retreated. Okay, I asked to see his passport. What country was he from? No, France. He retreated. Okay, now I pinned his knight, which I taught the 1 o'clock class, and they remember what I taught them. Okay, and he took my knight, and I did something you've never heard of called a Zwischenzug. You may know it as in-between move. You probably don't know anything, but you could know it by that. Normally, when somebody takes something, you take back, as in Barney chess. I take you, you take me. Yeah, you're the worst class in history. You know how it goes. But I didn't take his knight. I attacked something more important. You, the highest rated player.
Bishop b5. No.
Lowest rated player. Back to the 1 o'clock class.
Rook f6. Bishop f6.
Terrible. Although you did say the right move eventually. So bishop f6. Attacking his rook. Now, he wanted to fianchetto his bishop when he played g6, but he sort of forgot about it. He was busy doing other stuff. Okay, so I fianchettoed his bishop. Okay. So rook g8, right where the rook belongs. Now, I'm going to tell you a funny story. I've been married many times. And in one of my marriages, I don't know which one of my wives liked to play rook g8 when she was black. And I said, stop doing that. You're not allowed to ever play rook g8. Then her rating went up. See? So if you play rook g8 with black a lot, that's not good. What should you do with that rook in chess often? Castle. My opponent's probably not going to castle once he played rook g8. Not on that side. Okay, I took the knight. Did he take my pawn like you would? Why not? Right, the very quiet bishop b5. It's quiet because he said it quietly. Yeah. Now he's in check because I said so, and his queen's attacked. So he played bishop g7. I could have fiend countered his rook. But I developed a piece. We traded. His knight's attacked. He moved his knight. Okay, now I wanted to keep this pawn. I like that pawn. That pawn's my friend. It makes his king and rook look sort of silly. So I played knight e4, defending my pawn. He took his pawn back. And I moved this guy and 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 this guy. These are the guys I didn't move. Okay? And I like the way Paul Morphy plays chess, even now. And I like to move all my pieces and get them involved. So I played rook c1. Okay? Now he surprised me. However, he did prove that his passport was authentic. So what did he play? What move can Black play to prove he's from France? What's the most you can retreat? The most.
Queen d7.
Aha, that's why you're not from France. J'accuse. What'd you say? Did you say queen d7? You're so close.
Queen d8.
Yeah. Now that's French. Okay. The only person worse than somebody who's French is a member of our club, French. He agrees, but he works the club, so he can't say anything. All he can do is laugh so the camera can't hear him or whatever. Okay, so it's tough being French. Now, you'll notice I didn't move my rook yet, but I like to move all my pieces. So I pinned his knight, threatening everything. Then he traded queens. He likes to move his queen a lot. That's nothing to sneeze at. Now, let's see who the smartest person in the room is. How many times has Black moved his queen so far? I know the answer. The answer is I don't know. I don't know, so that's correct. It's the funniest thing Frank ever heard. You all right over there? All right, we're gonna give Frank a minute. If he ever stops laughing, I'll let you know. All right, so he moved his queen many, many times. He played queen b6, queen c5, back to b6, back to d8. Then he moved it to d4, then back to d8, then he traded. Don't do that. So now, did Black move any of these pieces? No, I took the queen, and I moved all my pieces, and they're all doing something, and my king is safe. He didn't move any of these pieces. He moved this one, boo, and he moved his knight, and that's pinned and attacked twice. So what's funny is the computer, which counts the material, see the material? Who's the head material? You guys can do it. I have faith in you. Mike Cummer doesn't know because he can't look off the board. He can only look on the board. On the board's ridiculous. Who would do that? Black's up. Black's up 1 pawn. Good counting. You guys go to public school? All right, White has 6 pawns and Black has 6 pawns. When I was in school, 6 equaled 6. So nobody's up anything. So normally, when nobody's up anything, the computer says equal. Yay, equal. However, White has a lot of advantages. White's pieces are all better than Black's pieces, and White's king is safer than Black's king. And White has a big threat here that you don't see. So if it was White's move, what would a crushing move be? Crushing. You with the wrong answer. Is no answer the wrong answer? Anyone? Bueller? You with the wrong answer.
Knight d6 check.
Very good. The wrong answer. Knight d6 is a good move, but you have better. Professional athletes always wanting more. Let's ask the highest rated player in the room who's not me, Jonathan. Okay, the 1900 player who's underrated says rook c6 is the threat. For example, after h6, a move most of you would play, rook takes c6. Now, White's threatening rook takes c8 checkmate with advantage. So Black takes, White takes, and Black loses all of his pieces and cries. Also, after king f8, you don't take all of his pieces, you mate him. Okay, so Black has a lot of problems, and now his position is also bad. What were his problems before the game? Anybody remember? Yeah? No, but that's a good answer. But I have a much funnier answer.
Oh,
You.
he was from France.
Yes, there's a kid who pays attention. It's in France. So that's, you already got problems. Okay, so dans cette position, he plays comme ça, fou de sept, right? Fou, yeah. Fou, yeah. So he plays fou de sept, bishop d7. And if you're watching him on the YouTube from France, too bad. Okay, so he stopped all of my threats, so we agreed to a draw. He said, je propose la nulle, and I said, quoi? Is that what happened? It did, then all of you said, quoi? And then what did Bugs Bunny say?
What?
No, he said, quoi de neuf, doctor? Yeah, true story. Well, you're laughing, do you get that?
Yes.
What?
He must have said, what's up now?
That's what he says. Yeah, right. Yeah, tu parles français, bon. Okay, the rest of the lecture will be in French, which won't affect how much you learn. French, like, that's right. Okay, so I played knight d6 as recommended by the kid with the Michigan shirt. Where am I from? Say Michigan. Yeah, I was born in Michigan, unlike you. Were you born in Michigan? See, I was right. And I lived in Ann Arbor for 7 years. That's where Michigan is, right? Now, for extra credit, the stadium for Michigan football, what's the name of that stadium? You. I'll give you a hint.
The Colts.
I'll give you a hint because some of you will know this later in life. It's the same name as they call a prison.
Prison.
When you go to the prison, you go to the...
Jail.
No, you guys should know this because you're going to need to know it.
Courthouse.
No, close. The big house. Yeah, and in Michigan, they play in the big house. Yeah. Also, a lot of the Michigan players go to jail, so it all works out. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. That's Nebraska. All right. So he got out of check, and then I took everything. Then what did I do? I called the doctor because I hurt my arm taking his pieces. Right? Did you know Mike Kummer's a doctor? Did you know that?
No.
You know why you didn't know it? Because it's not true. Okay. So I put him in check. He got out of check. And now the computer says every move wins. And it says if it's black's move, I'm winning. Man, the truth hurts. I played knight a5, and his king is very safe, as long as your definition of safe is different than mine. Okay, now I won a piece, and then I tried to checkmate him, because I got 3 pieces on his king. Okay, I played rook b5, because I'm threatening rook b3 check, and then rook d4 mate. Whoa, that's the end of the recording. Okay. Although it wasn't working anyway, probably. So for example, after h5, a move most of you would make, I go check and checkmate. Bam. My opponent preferred not getting checkmated, so he played, instead of h5, e5, king a4, rawr, attacking my rook. I moved my rook, threatening rook d4 mate. He stopped rook d4 mate. What move did he make that stopped rook d4 mate? You in the back with the right answer. Right. Man, if he was wrong, I would have looked terrible. We had to reshoot the whole thing. E5. Now I can't play rook d4. Boo. So I resigned. No. Now, I'm a grandmaster and you're not. So I played rook a5 mate. And he had nothing to say about it. He was like, yes, sir. Yeah.
Can't do that.
Right, Frank? No, you can't do that.
Well, you can't go there too, but it would be too slow.
Okay, so what move did I make to play rook a5? No having a good time. This is chess. You.
Rook d5.
I played rook d5, threatening rook a5 mate, as I explained. Rook a5 mate's easy to stop. He stopped it by resigning. Let's say he didn't resign, and he made the only move that stops it. A5. Now I have another mate. Who can find it? The 2 o'clock class. It's always the same kid. How about you? You haven't said anything yet. Knight c5 mate. Now, when you're down a piece and you're getting mated and I'm crushing you and your opponent's a grandmaster, most people resign. But if you play to mate, you shouldn't play to one move before mate and then resign. You should let me mate you. Come on, man. So after this, I was like, oh boy, I'm going to mate him next move. Then he resigned. If only Mike Kummer was there to forfeit him, double forfeit him. Okay, so that was my first game. Now, as you all know, I am a grandmaster, so I win every game easily, and my opponents cry. Okay, except that's not the truth. The truth is much worse. The truth is I'm losing all the time, and then my opponent's like, yay, I'm winning, and then they lose anyway. Yes. Okay, and that's what happened this game. Okay, I played a guy rated 1800. What's my rating? Let's pick a random student. Karen, what's my rating? Plus tax, right. So he's rated 1800 with no tax, and I'm rated 2500 with a lot of tax. Hey, no talking over there. So before the game, he was like, oh, I'm going to lose, I'm the worst. And he's right. And unfortunately for me, he was winning most of the game. Okay? Because I made a mistake on move 6. But my first 5 moves were pretty good, right? Okay? So in this position, a very complicated line is E5 and then D5. I don't play complicated lines because I'm old. And I was like, let's play a complicated line. So I've never played E5 and D5. This was the first time. And here I made a mistake. I didn't make the kind of mistake you would make. You would play queen takes D5, and they would fork your king and queen. Okay, I didn't do that. Okay.
No.
Yeah. That's the 1 o'clock, the 2 o'clock, and the 3 o'clock class. Okay. So the grandmasters play bishop C5 here. That's the normal move. Okay. I forgot what the normal move was because I never played this before. So I played A6. Boo! Forcing his knight to a good square. Okay. Now the computer says white has a really good position because white's a pawn up, and I wasted time with A6. So we developed our pieces, and he said, oh boy, I'm up a pawn. And I was like, quiet, we're playing. And in this position, I sacrificed another pawn. Now here, he would like to play E4. That's what you would play. Then what would I do? Take his queen. Okay, but he's rated 1800, so he didn't do that. He played queen E1. He's going to play E4 next move. And he's a pawn up, and he has a good center. I stopped him from playing E4. What did I do? I played E4. Now that loses a pawn, but I was losing pawns before you were born. He attacked my queen, but I saw it. Pretty good, huh? Okay. And now, if he takes my pawn on E4, the computer says he's up 2 pawns. The computer counts pretty well. But he played E3, not a good move. Should have taken my pawn on E4. Then I pinned all of his knights. It's a double pin. It's like a double guitar. Right? See the double pin on his knights? So if he tries to take my pawn, he can't take with the knight because his knight's pinned. So I can just take. Yeah. So he unpinned his knight. He played queen B1. Now his knight's not pinned. He's attacking my pawn again. He's attacking my pawn with everything he's got. So I took his knight and I attacked his rook. And the reason I attacked his rook was I was hoping it would move away. And then I'd play bishop to D3. Bam. Well, that's a good bishop, right? Great bishop. What a bishop. Most of you would take the bishop, then I would take your queen. Then you start crying. Okay. So instead, he gave up his rook by taking my center pawn. Okay. So in this position, how many extra pawns does white have? Good try.
No.
Okay, count the number of pawns only. Only count pawns.
Two.
Right, white has 2 extra pawns,
Yes.
and black has a rook and a knight for 2 bishops. Supposedly, a rook and a knight's better than 2 bishops, but I doubt it. And white has a lot of extra pawns. And if Mike Cumler's watching the game, he would just be in the corner crying because the material's too complicated for him. Yeah, there's no way he could figure that out. His flag would fall. He would pay you to tell him what's going on. Okay, now I want to take all of his pawns because I'm a mean guy, so I play queen C5. Now, the reason having pawns is good is because you promote them to queens. He decided to do that now. He played D6. He's attacking my pawn. So I played knight D5. Now he can't take my pawn unless he cheats. The computer won't let me cheat. And he decided to promote his pawn. And I was like, dude, don't promote your pawn. I want to win. So I played here. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm going to take your pawn. And he's like, stop rubbing your hands. It hurts my ears. Okay. So if he promotes his pawn, he'll win. If I take his pawn, then I'm doing okay. The computer says white is better, but he has to play correctly, not his strong suit. He's not going to play correctly. If he was playing correctly, he'd be rated 2,800, not 1,800, right? 2,800 would play correctly. Then I would lose and I'd cry. He took my knight, which is correct. He attacked my queen, which is correct. And finally, he made a bad move. Finally. He should have played rook to d6, attacking my queen. Not because it attacks my queen, but he doesn't want my queen on his pawn. He wants me not to win his pawn. So instead he played queen d3, and now I can win his pawn. Then if I win his pawn, my position's pretty good. If I don't win his pawn, my position's not good. Okay, and here you'll notice I have two pieces attacking his pawn because I said so. How do I get that other piece to attack his pawn? Then I could take it. Yes. Man, I wish I could see a way to do it. Let me think about it. Oh wait, I should put it in training so you don't cheat. You with the right answer. I was going to play b5, but I changed my mind.
Queen F.
Queen who?
Queen King.
Oh, move my king to e7? But no. b5 is the right idea, but I didn't do it. The reason I didn't do it is because he plays queen d4, and I assume your idea was rook a7. Was that right? Yeah, now I can't play rook a7.
Well, you could always play a line with where just no, not do that.
You told me. Okay, you in the back with something crazy to say.
Rook C8.
Hey, I was right.
What?
I was more right than I've ever been in my life about anything. Rook c8's the craziest move on the board. Good job.
Yay.
He takes my rook with his pawn.
That's what I was gonna say.
Because you said that, that's why I said it.
Oh, good answer. All right, remind me to give you some money later. Okay, so I want to move my b pawn and play rook a7, but I was afraid of queen d4, so I played b6. Now, I'm going to play rook a7 and take his pawn. Hooray for me. The computer says after queen f5, it's an equal position. Both sides could win or a draw. But he played queen d5, which the computer says is bad. Then we traded queens, and I played rook a7, and he can't stop me from winning his pawn. So when you have a passed pawn, and you push it, and your opponent takes it, that's not good. Well, it's good for them. So he took my pawn, and I took his pawn. Now, he has a bishop and two pawns for a rook, which is about the same, except his pawns are no good. Boo! Okay, I'm going to go take those pawns. So instead of me going to take them, he moved them towards me so I could take them. He's a nice guy. He played c4. I decided to trap his rook with f6. Now, his rook can't go anywhere. Man, it's tough, isn't it? That rook's not so good on this side. One of your chess teachers before me probably said, don't put your pieces on the side. And you said, I'll do what I want. Then your rook's on the side and it can't move anywhere. Okay? So he played c5. He thought I would take, and then he would take, and he's happy.
No, you wouldn't do that.
Okay? But I know a tactic called removing the defender. His rook is defending his pawn, so I got his rook out of there. I played.
Wait, isn't there a lot of
Trap the rook.
No.
He's pawn b6.
What?
b6.
b6 is like the reverse of what you wanted to say. Other side of the board. You have the right move, you're just saying it wrong.
G6.
g6. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Now you with some crazy line that traps the rook. What are you talking about? g6? Never mind. Okay. Never mind is correct. g6, he played the obvious move. Not obvious to you, but you know.
He played-
There's a 1900 player behind you, it's obvious to him. No, you. h6?
Yeah.
Yeah. He played his rook to h6. Then I went yum, yum, yum. Now I have a passed pawn. Now when he has a passed pawn, I take it. When I have a passed pawn, I promote it.
But can't you win by rook h7?
Rook h7?
No, after you take the pawn.
What?
Once the rook's your trick. Oh, the pawn's in there.
Who? Okay, so takes, check, here, and now I have a plan. That's my plan. Good plan, huh? Yeah, watch me do it. He moved his rook and it's attacked, and I did my plan. Then he traded rooks, which the computer says is terrible for him, and then I did my plan. Then he's like, man, I like that plan. So he gave up. If he wants to stop my pawn, he has to do it with his bishop, but that ain't going to work, is it?
No.
Man, I mean, he's going to give his bishop for the pawn. Okay. Then he'll make some move, and I'll queen. And then I'm good when I'm up a rook. I'm the best. Although probably there's a lot of grandmasters better. Yeah. So after c3, he resigned. Hooray for me. Then after the game, he's like, I was winning. The most famous quote from any chess player. I was winning. Yeah. Yeah. You was winning until you wasn't. So he played really well that game, and he had all these extra pawns, and he pushed his pawn until I took it. It's unfortunate. So if you have a passed pawn and you're promoting it, don't let the other guy take it, because then it doesn't work. Now the last game was the easiest, and my opponent, just like the first round opponent, she didn't castle, and then she's like, man, my king's not doing too well. And I was like, no talking during the game. None of the kids got that, by the way. No, and the adults either. Okay, so she did something that you've rarely heard of. I played the Queen's Gambit, your favorite opening, and she took. That's the Queen's Gambit. Accepted. Okay, and not the way you would spell, but the correct way with an A. Right? Like when you give me $1 million, I accept it. Right? Okay, and all you kids are good except you kids in the middle. That's accepted with an E. Right? But I still let them in the room because they're accepted with an A. None of the kids got nothing. They're looking on the ceiling going, is the answer there? Yeah, I don't see it. The answer is on the ceiling, but shh, don't tell them. Okay, now I'm down a pawn, so I played e3 to take my pawn back. Now, I'm going to show you a trap I learned when I was younger than you. Shh. I was younger than you when I learned this trap. b5, defending his pawn. a4, c6, defending his pawn. Takes, no talking. And now, no talking. Now, white has a winning move.
Queen c3.
Incorrect. Does somebody want to suggest a legal move? You with the legal move.
Incorrect.
Correct.
Bishop takes c4.
Can you walk him to the 1 o'clock class back in the past? Now, you said the right move, but you don't know notation. Look at it again and say the right notation.
Oh, queen f.
There you go. Okay, queen f3. Now, his rook is attacked because I said so, and he's going to lose some pieces or something. He's going to lose a bishop, a knight, or a rook. It's up to him. Or a queen. Now, if he loses a queen, he still has to lose more. That doesn't really help. Yeah. Okay, so I played e3. Nobody's ever done that. I saw it in a book, but nobody ever does it. And we played all these boring moves.
Boring.
Pretty boring. Okay. And we got this position, and I want to play e5. Rawr. So I did. Bam. And my opponent, who's rated about 2180, she saw her knight was attacked, so she moved it. Not only that, she attacked my pawn 3 times, and it's protected 2 times. So I protected it
3
again. What did I do?
You played bishop f4. F4.
Bishop f4 is what I played. Some of you would protect with your rook, and then when your opponent went there, you'd go, aw, and you start crying. If I played bishop f4, now she did something you guys do a lot. She thought for a long time. Okay, and what she should do is break my rule. Never play f6. That's what she should play. And then attacks my pawn again. And the computer says white is slightly better. But she played b6. And she fianchetted her bishop. And I put my knight on e4. Rawr! And she's like, you can't take my bishop. But I was going to take her bishop. So she moved it away. And I took her bishop anyway. I just went here. Grandmaster. I played knight d6 check. That's a pretty good knight. So she took it, and she went here. Now I discovered a good move. discovered.
Oh.
This move was recommended by Christopher Columbus, even though he didn't discover anything. Okay? The world's biggest lie. Okay, so notice, if I move my knight, my queen is attacking her knight. Right? You notice that?
Yeah.
So I played knight g5, and she was like, if I move my knight, then I'm going to go wham. Okay? And then George Michael would turn over in his grave. None of you kids heard of Wham, so you don't get it. Okay, what about you? Nothing? You got
I've
nothing?
heard of George Michael, but
He's famous because he was in a group called Wham.
okay.
Also X-Clan. Not Wham, X-Clan. Weren't you alive in like 1986?
92.
Oh, so yeah, you haven't heard of him. Yeah. They made a joke of it on Family Guy. They're like, and now VH1 back in the music with the other guy from Wham. 'Cause, I think his name's Andrew Ridgely, but I don't remember. But I'm sure we're going to get a lot of comments about that. No, his name was such and such. No talking. Now, after knight e6, f e6, bishop e6, the truth hurts.
This queen's trapped.
It's the only good sacrifice you're ever going to see from me. This queen's not trapped, and also her queen. What can she do? The only safe square. You should all know it's the 2 o'clock class.
Yeah, it's
Karen, queen d8. Now, I think a lot of moves win, but my intention was bishop c8 because she's in check, and then I take her bishop, and I take every piece. That was a good intention, I thought.
not.
Anyway, she didn't like any of that. So she played the trickiest move you've ever seen, recommended by Run DMC. Did you get that at least?
Yes.
Oh, that one you get, okay.
H6.
Yeah, that's the trickiest. After h6, forcing me to play the winning sacrifice. Rawr. And now it's even stronger. Man. Okay, so she played knight e5, giving away her knight. So I was like, all right, take a knight. Now I'm up a knight. Then she did a fork, which I knew she would do. That's why she played knight e5. How did she threaten my unprotected bishop and threaten checkmate? 2 for 1. You with the right answer.
Me?
Yeah.
Queen F6.
I knew he was going to say queen f6. I was going to bet money. I didn't call.
I mean Queen C6.
Right. Yeah, you dyslexic? You need some new prescription for your glasses? All right. You know, you're always reversing. Funnier would be like queen c3. Or queen f3 is funnier.
Yeah, but
Okay. Queen c6,
it would work.
threatening my bishop and threatening mate.
It wouldn't work after bishop d5.
Yeah, it wouldn't work? Looks like it worked. All right. So I have a lot of ways to win. I played d7 check. That's the most complicated. So I did that. Okay. If she takes with the queen, all those threats she just made aren't there anymore. Her queen's not on c6. Threats are gone. If she takes with the king, a lot of moves win. Every move wins. Rook d1 check is the simplest because then I could defend mate, or I could play the aforementioned bishop d5. Other things win too. So she played the best move, king e7. I stopped mate, knight f3, and she took back her piece. Bam! Okay, now I played the crushing move. Now it's too hard for this class, so I'll give you a hint. It's check. There's only like 7 or 8 checks here, so you could probably get it. You have a chance. I'm going to count all the checks, and you're going to count all the checks, and you're going to be wrong, and I'm going to be right. I guarantee it. Nobody will be right. Maybe Jonathan, maybe, but not you.
Let me see. You keep
Shh, no talking, I'm counting. Okay, I've counted all the checks white has. Raise your hand. How many checks does white have? Who says 4? Raise your hand. Who says 5? Who says 6? And Jonathan's wrong. And who says 7? The right answer. They're like, well, it's the right answer. Okay. Jonathan, did you miss d8 bishop?
No.
So queen c5, queen d6, queen e6, queen f6, queen g5? Which one did you miss? 5 plus 2, dude.
Just discounted.
Oh, you saw them all, but you counted to 6. Yeah, the truth hurts. Yeah, so this is check. This is all check. And bishop and queen. One of those checks is the move I played, the best one. Close. Well, I didn't promote, so no. You with the right answer. It's hard to be wrong now because the other checks are all horrible. Queen G5, right. Yeah. Now, if black plays the move you would play, then I would fork the king and queen. So she didn't do that. And if she plays king f8, that's even worse. How do we find a worse move than you would play? Because I go here and I make a rook because I'm funny.
It doesn't matter what you put there.
It does matter. A knight or a bishop is terrible. Still winning. And then mate. Okay, and she can't break my rule, never play f6. She could. The computer says white is plus 11 here. The computer likes white. So she played the other move, the one I didn't show you yet. They're like, you didn't show us a move? What? Anyone? What's the only move I didn't show you that she played it? You! That's right, I didn't show you king d8. And the stupid computer won't let me do it. What a dumb computer. I can't do it, so I gotta find something else. King d6. Yeah, king d8's illegal. King d6. But king d8 was insisted upon by the 1 o'clock class. They refused to look at anything else. King d8, blocking the pass pawn. Okay. And now, remember the mate that she was threatening before with queen g2? Yeah. That's never going to happen because my queen's defending g2. So there's no more threats for black ever, so it's my turn to make threats. Now, you were taught to play chess by somebody, probably not very good because I watch you guys play. And did they tell you to put your king on d6 in the opening? And they didn't, but why do you keep doing it? What are you, Dr. Morris? Okay, so I played knight e5, forking everything. It's not very fair. I'm threatening knight takes queen, and knight takes f7. Everything's a fork. Okay, I went to kingside, and I gave them some of the forks so they could serve people. Right? Yeah, they're running out of forks. Yeah. Okay, now she did what you guys never do. She resigned. And the computer says like plus 10. And the reason is, there's a reason. If you move your queen to a random square, that's a random square, it looks like I just win the exchange. I win a knight for a rook. But the problem is, if she takes my knight, I win that rook too. Okay, you can't give all your rooks away. So the computer's like, man, this is bad. And she was like, man, this is bad. So she gave up. Okay, and then she bought a 10-pack of lessons. Oh, I mean, yay, right? Yeah, the truth hurts. Yeah. So then I'll teach her for 10 hours, and then she'll beat me the next game. But I won't show you that game. Okay, any questions? Any questions from home? No? Now, it's 50-50 this recording device worked. When I say 50-50, I mean like 199. Yeah? Yeah. So this probably won't go on the internet. If it does, it's a miracle. Also, last week's was recorded perfectly, still not on the internet. So there you go. You could try to get it on today because it's Father's Day. When I record videos on my channel, they're up in like 10 minutes. It's the highest quality possible. No, not really. Horrible. Yeah. People comment on my videos, they go, boo. Then it says ... and the next comment is just more O's. Boo, ooh, it keeps going. I couldn't believe it. One time, I was eating this soup, alphabet soup, and there was a ghost. It spelled ooh, and I was like, no. And then my friend is like, those are Cheerios. Okay, and remember the most important thing. None of the kids got it, by the way. Class dismissed.